Welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Lidar Gavelazian, coming up in today's newscast. After 21 years in a coma, a woman severely wounded in the Jerusalem Sbarro suicide bombing in 2001 has succumbed to her wounds. A new report estimates that Iran has enough weapons-grade uranium to build 7 nuclear bombs within 3 months. And ILTV visits the NRB together with Israel 365. Take a look into the leading Christian broadcasting convention. After living in a coma for over 21 years, a woman severely wounded in the Sbarro suicide bombing in 2001 has succumbed to her wounds. New York-born Hannah Nachenberg was 31 years old when a suicide bomber blew up the Sbarro pizzeria in Jerusalem, killing 15 people and wounding 130. She was laid to rest today in Jerusalem. ILTV's Steve Leibovitz reports.
Hannah Nachenberg was one of the severely wounded when a Palestinian suicide bomber blew up the Sbarro pizzeria in the center of Jerusalem, an attack that was among the worst during the Intifada. She lived all these years in hospital in a vegetative state until her death. She was 31 years old when the bombing took place. Her 2-year-old daughter, Sarah, was one of the few to survive the attack unscathed. The suicide bomber was Izzadin Shuhiel al-Masri. His accomplice was Alam Tamimi, who chose the location for the attack. Tamimi was captured and convicted and given 16 life sentences, but later released in the prisoner swap for captive IDF soldier Gilad Shalit. Tamimi now lives in Jordan, where she hosts a talk show on the Hamas-affiliated television channel. Jordan has refused to extradite her to the United States, where she is on the FBI's most wanted list.
And moving on, 5 years since the Trump administration pulled out of the Iranian nuclear deal, but during this time, Tehran has been busy, continuing to develop its nuclear program. And now, a new report by The Economist quotes Iran expert David Albright, founder of the Institute for Science and International Security, estimating that Iran could produce enough weapons-grade uranium for a nuclear weapon in just 12 days. More worrying still, the report states that if Iran used all its stock of highly enriched uranium, it could produce 4 more nuclear weapons in a month, and a total of 7 nuclear weapons within a span of just 3 months. According to Albright, Iran can now produce nuclear weapons pretty much on demand. This latest Economist report comes on the heels of satellite photos revealing that Iran is building a nuclear facility in the Zagros Mountains that is so deep underground it would be invulnerable to the U.S.'s most powerful bunker-busting bomb. And yet, amid this latest alarming report, the United States is reportedly, according to Axios, still hoping to broker new Iranian nuclear talks with the help of Oman, despite Israeli concerns and objections. And so joining us now to discuss the latest on the Iranian nuclear program is professor for the Department of Middle Eastern History at Tel Aviv University and the former director for the Alliance Center on Iranian Studies, Professor Meir Litvak. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon.
So this latest report is incredibly alarming. Not only is Iran now capable of producing multiple nuclear weapons, but it is also building a bunker that is impenetrable to U.S. bombs. I mean, what is your analysis?
Well, first of all, let's make a distinction between producing material for nuclear bomb than producing a bomb. Producing a bomb requires several more technical developments, which Iran is not there yet. Although, of course, it is an alarming sign, an alarming development. Clearly, what Iran wants to do is to reach the position where, indeed, it can produce a bomb at will. I'm not sure that Iran will go all the way toward the bomb, but this is precisely what they want to do right now. That is, reach this position, which will give them security, immunity from attack, and basically would enhance their international position and regional position. We have to admit that the previous American and Israeli strategy against Iran failed. Abandoning the JCPOA proved to be a mistake in retrospect, and by the way, there were people who had warned against it at the time. There's a slim chance that maybe returning to an agreement might hold the Iranians from moving ahead toward the bomb. This is not a great chance, but we have to again to accept the fact that the other strategies have failed. And
But, you know,
therefore, we don't.
I want to ask because, you know, the United States is still desperately hoping to secure some sort of diplomatic agreement, but Iran has clearly shown time and again that it's not serious about any real deal. And so, you know, the Biden administration, which is also reportedly seeking to release billions of dollars in funds to the Iranian regime, I mean, this sounds a little, you know, a little bit ludicrous and a little, you know, too little too late.
First of all, let's make a distinction. Iran wants to reach a deal because that would relieve it from very harsh sanctions. However, and unfortunately, Iran now feels that it has the upper hand, that it now has leverage against the West, and therefore it demands very harsh conditions in order to reach a new deal or to go back to the previous deal. We have also to accept that until 2018, Iran did keep its part of the agreement. Iran did not violate the agreement. And the fact that Iran has not moved yet toward a bomb, but has been willing to so far to stand at what we call a threshold position, may be a sign for little hope that Iran would be interested in a deal. But again, under very difficult conditions, and of course, when it is now in a much better position than it had been in the past. Mm-hmm. We don't have a choice between good or bad options. We have a choice between bad and even worse options.
And, you know, have Israel and the United States missed the window to perhaps engage in some sort of military campaign against Iran?
I doubt very much that the Israeli military campaign would have helped. Yes, if the U.S. would have dealt a military attack on Iran years ago, the U.S. might have achieved a success. But we have to remember that the U.S. is, you can say, suffers still from the traumas of two major failing wars in the Middle East, in Iraq and Afghanistan. The U.S. has no stomach for another war in the Middle East because the U.S. is afraid, possibly correctly, that an attack on Iran may lead to a major war. Israel by itself, I doubt very much that Israel by itself could reach its goals, that is, of eliminating the Iranian nuclear option by an Israeli military attack. The U.S. is a major superpower. Israel, with all due respect, is a regional power, but does have the capability to eliminate Iranian nuclear capabilities, and we have to accept it.
And so what should Israel, or what can Israel do now to curb Iran's, nuclear aspirations?
I'm afraid that an agreement, as bad as it may be, is the best of bad options that we have. Again, we don't have good options right now. We have a choice between various bad options. An agreement, which may, if it's a serious one, may be the lesser evil than all other options.
Doesn't sound very promising. Professor Litvak, thank you so much for your analysis today.
You're most welcome.
And in other news, Hungary will soon become the first country in the European Union to move its embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. That's the word from Foreign Minister Eli Cohen, who made the announcement while visiting the Chabad House in Budapest. ILTV has exclusive video of Cohen's remarks. More from ILTV's Steve Leibovitz.
Since the U.S. moved its embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem 5 years ago, Israel has been unable to convince any European nations to do the same. That is, until now. After visiting his counterpart in Hungary, Cohen made a quick visit to the Chabad House in Budapest. An ILTV viewer happened to be there, and we have this exclusive video of his remarks.
לומר את זה בקול ברור, תומכת ומגבה אותנו בזירה הבינלאומית. ויש בשורה נוספת, שתזכרו שאני אומר לכם אותה כאן, שהונגריה תהיה עוד מספר שבועות תודיע להיות המדינה הראשונה באיחוד האירופי שתודיע על מעבר השגרירות שלה לירושלים. זאת תהיה בשורה באמת גדולה, כי ירושלים
Earlier, Hungarian Foreign Minister Peter Szijjártó declared that cooperation between Hungary and Israel has reached an historic peak. During their meeting, Szijjártó criticized EU policy as biased against Israel. He also promised continued support to the Jewish state within international institutions and called for a fair approach toward Israel in the United Nations.
ILTV attended this year's National Religious Broadcast, or NRB, Christian Media Convention in Orlando, Florida, together with Israel 365. This annual conference is the largest gathering of its kind, bringing together leading Christian media and businesses. And this year, Israeli media and businesses were prominently featured. Let's take a look. This year's National Religious Broadcasters Conference saw a leap in Israeli presence as Israel 365 ensured to give the Christian world a taste of Israel. Attendees were eager to share their stories and learn about others. The annual NRB conference is the hub for Christian communicators, be it in radio, TV, film, church media, or digital marketing. It brings together leading Christian media figures, and Israel's presence at the conference works as a step towards extending Israel's support worldwide.
There's many people here who have a strong heart for Israel, I would say, who want to support Israel and the Jewish people. They may not have even ever met a Jew in their lives. So it's a great place to start. Hey, we love Israel. We love the Jewish people. We have that foundation. Now let's educate. Now let's get to Israel. You know, some say the only thing better than standing with Israel is standing in Israel. So to have that foundation and to get in the land, to be with Israelis and to network, and there's a lot of networking going on here. It's exciting. It is a major, major thing. And then take that education to churches, to communities across the United States. It starts at the grassroots.
Whilst we were there, we spoke to various fascinating individuals and business owners and really captured the significance of bridging those gaps between the state of Israel and the Christian community worldwide.
The vast majority of the world isn't Jewish. If we cannot reach out to them, Israel's support will become less and less. It's already deteriorating in the Jewish community. So I always worry when anybody hides in a cocoon. Jews should not hide in a cocoon because the world will find us. We can't hide.
Israel 365 brought several NGOs and representatives of the State of Israel to the convention, shedding light on the essence of Israel and sharing their various stories.
I'm going to NRB for the same reason, because there are thousands of very important Christian media influencers who love Israel. And I'm bringing an incredible group of Israeli leaders with me for a very important mission to strengthen the state of Israel for such a time as this.
Even El Al, Israel's national airline, was there to tell us about the work they're doing to ensure all those traveling to and from Israel begin their Israel experience before takeoff.
I think the important thing is that we show a comprehensive and a cohesive story of Israel. We're working, obviously, with the Israel Ministry of Tourism. We're working with some of our tour operator partners, certainly working with Israel 365 to get that message out to everybody. This is what Israel is, and we're the bridge, we're the mechanism of how to get there. So I think what we're able to do is when we collaborate with our partners like this, we can offer to the Christian community, the evangelical community, the first-time visitors, we can offer to them a complete experience and make that kind of vision a reality for them.
And in other news, wounded vets from Israel and the United Kingdom are meeting this week in the 3rd annual Veterans Games taking place in Tel Aviv. As we hear from ILTV's William Sharon, the event is about more than just sports and competition.
Israeli and UK athletes meet this week for the 3rd annual Veterans Game. Some 180 British athletes and family members made the trip for a competition between Israeli and UK Army veterans that include events in swimming, shooting, and CrossFit. The meeting is as much about getting together with comrades in arms as it is about the competition itself. The delegation of 65 British veterans include those with physical disabilities as well as those with injuries not visible to the eye, including complex PTSD. Craig Lundberg was wounded while serving in Iraq in 2007, leaving him completely blind. he is in Israel, along with his families, to compete in swimming and CrossFit.
My sacrifice, I made my decision when I was 16 to join the army, and I didn't obviously know what was going to happen to me. But every day my family lives with the sacrifice of living with a blind dad or a blind partner, which isn't the easiest sometimes, as you can imagine. So to have them here and being involved, and the help and support that my partner's been given in having a blind man and 3 kids to look after has been top-notch, and we're really grateful for the hospitality.
The Israeli veterans competing in the event are regular attendants to Bet Lochem programs for the IDF disabled veterans. British Veterans Affairs Minister MP Johnny Mercer attended the event and presented medals to some of the athletes.
So sport is like the #1 recovery vehicle that you can have, right? And so to see veterans coming out here from the UK with their families, with wounded veterans from Israel, and basically obviously doing the sport, but it's non-selective sport, but then, you know, participating in all these events. I mean, it's changing lives. You can just speak to any of these people and how happy they are, how much it means for them to be here. It's an incredible project, and it's a real privilege to visit.
The sports competition occupies the British vets in the mornings, and afternoons see them and their families touring the country, visiting places such as Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, and the Dead Sea.
And Mitzpe Ramon in the south of Israel is an incredible destination with unmatched natural beauty. It's a tourism hotspot in Israel, but it's somewhat lacking in family activities. That is, until now. The Jewish National Fund USA recently established not 1, but 2 new parks, fun for the entire family. Let's take a look. You might know this city for its breathtaking crater or fancy hotels, but did you know there are now 2 incredible parks changing the game and making this region a destination for high-quality living? Introducing Jewish National Fund USA's Weiss Water Park, an oasis in the middle of the desert. With water activities for the kids and plenty of shaded seating areas, it's the perfect spot to cool off on a hot day and make some memories with the family.
It's amazing having this water park here in the middle of the desert. So, you know, otherwise we'd have to drive 2 hours to get to the sea. And it just means so much that we can just pick up our kids and come here and have a splash and have some refreshing weather, and it's really nice.
And if your kids are still looking for fun, the Weiss Skate Park is right across the street, a skater's paradise. With half pipes, rails, and more, it's already become a hotspot for athletes and enthusiasts alike. And you might even catch a future member of Israel's Olympic skateboard team. Of course, these parks aren't just all fun and games. They're also bringing a positive impact on the whole community. Increased tourism boosts Mitzpe Ramon's economy, and local businesses are reaping the benefits with increased foot traffic.
The skate park is really cool. The kids have really taken to it. They use their skateboards and their bicycles, and they really it gives them an opportunity to work on certain skills that they wouldn't get to otherwise. It gives them a different terrain than the desert terrain. And so anyone who comes to Mitzpe is really surprised and pleasantly surprised to find out that there's a skate park and the water park. They're both free, they're both accessible.
And it's not just the businesses benefiting. The parks provide a safe and healthy space for kids and teens to hang out, stay active, and make new friends. It's a great way to promote community among all walks of life.
The water park in Mitzpe Ramon is great for families to hang out, to meet new people, new families, just to hang out. And it's like the water fountain in the desert. Everybody comes around.
The park is open every day between 4 and 6. So as soon as kids come out of school, they come here, and it's all the parents meet up here as well, and different parts of the community get together here. You can see both religious and secular and different aspects of the community. I absolutely recommend Mitzpe. It's a must. It's a must when you come visit Israel. There's a beautiful crater here. There's they're one of the most beautiful environmental places in Israel. And it's really a special place. We call it the magical Mitzpe because magic happens here.
So on your next trip to Israel, or if you live here and didn't check it out yet, don't wait any longer. Grab your swimsuits and skateboards and have some fun in the sun at the Weiss Parks. And now, just like every end of the week, we're going to enjoy the story of Israeli wineries with ILTV's Wine of the Week. And for this week's wine pick, we're focusing on the Odem Mountain Winery. The Odem Mountain Winery is situated in the beautiful Golan Heights in the Moshav of Odem. The winery was founded in 2003 by Edith and Michael Alfasi along with their 4 children, with the dream of bringing joy, sharing the happy moments in life, and connecting people through wine. This family-run kosher winery enjoyed its first harvest in 2007 and since has been producing truly special and delicious wines. And so joining us now with more is Yara Alfasi Biadgalin, Export Manager for the Odem Mountain Winery. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So what is this week's Wine of the Week?
So I brought us the 1060 White Blend, which is a blend of Chardonnay, Riesling, and Viognier. That's our 3 white wines that we have, the 3 grapes. They're all in the Valley of Tears in our family plots, in a volcanic soil, very rich, very, very good for this significant wine to grow on. 10 months in French oak. Very, very nice, very, very elegant, and very good for, for the summer, the hot summer these days.
Mm-hmm. And, this winery is truly a family affair. Your parents established the winery. Were you, the children involved from the very beginning?
Yeah, from the first day, my 2 old brothers, Adam and Ishai, produced the wine at the winery. Adam was the winemaker from the first day. He graduated from the agricultural faculty of the Hebrew University in Rehovot, and he is our winemaker. Ishai is our grower. We are growing 70% of everything we are doing, and everything is by us.
Mm-hmm. So that's unique because I understand, that making a fine wine really comes down to, among other things, the grapes themselves. So what can you tell us a little bit more about the vineyards that you have and that you mentioned, the volcanic soil?
So the elevation of the winery and our vineyards is at 1060 meters, which is 3,444 feet. Mm-hmm. And this is very unique to Israel. We get a lot of snow during the winter and very nice heat at the summer, that it's not too hot, but the radiation there is high. And we also get very, very nice weather during the summer. And you have a very unique terroir. That's the best place to grow, actually, grapes in Israel.
And what more can you tell us about the winery and also about the process of making your wine?
So everything, as I said, starts with the family. The plots of the winery is 70% by us, grows by us, owned by us, and you can find a very nice variety of grapes that we're working with. From the white wines that we have, the Riesling, the Viognier, the Chardonnay, and also a very unique grapes for Israel at the red section. You can find Nebbiolo and Gamay Noir, which we are the only one in Israel who grows this grape. Also Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Syrah, the more typical varieties that you can find. And we really enjoy producing it together as a family. My dad, Michael, had the dream, and we are very honored to do and continue his legacy through the wine, through our visitor center at the winery, and to host people and have people and make the best that we can.
Sounds like really an incredible and very inspirational story of the winery, Odem Mountain Winery, this week's Wine of the Week. Yara, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great. And now, let's take a look at the weather forecast. Bright and sunny days are expected around the country with steady temperatures through the night reaching lows of around 25 degrees Celsius or 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Tomorrow, temperatures are set to rise and hit 38 degrees Celsius or 100 degrees Fahrenheit and continue to rise through Friday, then dropping slightly on Saturday. That's all for today's news. For more updates from Israel on all your devices, check out our ILTV channel, subscribe to our ILTV newsletter, and don't forget to check out our new and improved website, iltv.tv, with all the latest news from the heart of the State of Israel. I'm Madar Grave Lazi. Be well, and thank you so much for watching.